Hey, this is Jake with Associate PI. Today we are breaking down the CPCU 500 exam questions, part B of the exam. This is video 5 in our 8-part CPCU 500 video series. This is presented by Associate PI, where independent of the institutes and the CPCU designation, I'm a CPCU myself. I've passed these exams, including the 500. I'm just here to help you pass yours. So as I mentioned, this is part 5. If you want to review any of the other videos, you can go back to AssociatePI.com/videos to watch all 8 videos in the CPCU 500 video series. So today, as I mentioned, we are only covering part B of the 500 exam. In our last video series number 4, we covered part A, so you can go back and review that if you haven't seen it yet. But today, we are just going over part B question. There's about 20 of these scenario-based case questions on your exam, and the 500 exam is only 60 multiple choice questions in total, so about 20 of those will be on this part B. And these questions, they're scenario questions. They're case-based, meaning they'll put you in the shoes of an insurance professional. You have to analyze a scenario and choose the best answer given the scenario. So here's our recommendation on how to approach and solve these type of questions. We recommend that first off, you have to analyze the question, read it. There's going to be a lot of information given you on these questions, so read it, make sure you understand the question, and right away, step 2, eliminate any irrelevant information. There's going to be a lot thrown at you in these case questions. You won't need all the information given to you, so right away, just cross out some of the stuff you don't need. Then take a look at the answer options, see what's available. There's going to be 4 multiple choice answer options. And then the last step is choose the best one. There's going to be maybe 2 or 3 partially correct answers. Your job is to select, go through, figure out which ones are not correct, then figure out which one is the best answer given the scenario. So let's get into an example. And I'm not going to go too in-depth into, well, I guess I'll read the full question. But if you want to answer it on your own, we're going to go through, show you how to solve it. But you can pause the video, read the question, answer it yourself, see if you get it correct. But for now, I'll just read the question, show you how to break it down and solve it. So David's HO3 policy contains a provision stating that he must insure his property to at least 80% of the property's value to receive full insurance coverage in the event of a loss. David's dwelling is insured under an HO3 with a $230,000 coverage limit. The insurer determines that David's property value is $300,000. 5 years later, David suffers a fire loss that completely destroys his home. At the time of loss, David's property value is $280,000. How much will David's insurer pay for this loss? And then it gives you 4 options there. So let's go through and solve this. So step 1, we want to just read the question and figure out what it is asking. Right off the bat, we know it's asking about insurance to value. We have to know what is the insurance to value requirement for David. We want to know what property value, either the current value of his home or the value when the policy was purchased, that the insurer will use to determine insurance to value. And then we have to determine how much is paid for the claim to answer the question. So there we go. We know what the question is asking. We can get into it and start crossing out some irrelevant information. So step 2, right away, we're going to cross out a couple of sentences that we don't need because we obviously know that the property value 5 years ago is irrelevant. Means nothing to this question. It's just there to confuse you, and the exam will do this. It'll try to confuse you with information overload like this. So it's your job to go in, cross it out because you don't need it, so ignore it. And that'll just help you better read the question, understand, and better choose an answer option. All right, now step 3, we're going to look at the answer options, and right off the bat, again, we can see that 2 of them are obviously false. We know that David's liability limit is $230,000, meaning that in no scenario will the insurer pay more than his limit of liability. So we can see here that the $208,000 answer option A, and answer option C of $300,000, the insurer is not going to pay that much because they've already stated in the insurance contract that the most they are going to pay is $230,000. So right away, cross off answer option A, answer option C, and narrow it down to 2 remaining. The next step there is answering the question. So we know from our studying the CPCU 500 course that to determine insurance to value, we are dividing the $230,000 claimed by the $208,000 value of his property. So we know that the $230,000 limit of insurance divided by the $208,000 value of David's property. So we find that his current insurance to value is 82%, and we know the insurance to value clause states that if it's insured to at least 80% or more, insured to value of at least 80% or more, then the insurer agrees to pay a maximum loss up to the limit of liability, in this case, which is $230,000, which is David's home. So he's insured for $230,000. He meets the 80% criteria. That means the insurer will pay at most $230,000. But here's the tricky part. In this case, David's home is valued at $280,000. So it will cost $280,000 to repair the home. But the insurer, his limit in the insurance policy is only $230,000. So in this case, remember, it's asking how much will the insurance company pay. It will pay no more than $230,000 because that is the limit on his home. So the correct answer here is answer D, because the insurer is going to pay $230,000 because he meets the insurance to value provision. It's going to pay the full limit, but it will not pay more than the limit. So the answer here is D. And that's it. That's part B. This is video series number 5 of the CPCU 500 exam. If you want to see more part B questions and part A questions, actually, you can download our free CPCU 500 practice exam over at AssociatePI.com/practice exam. And we'll give you more of these questions for you to practice and get used to these type of questions that you will see. And if you want more resources, these are our free blog posts that we post over at AssociatePI.com/CPCU500. You can go check those out. Completely free, just gives you an overview of the exam and what to expect. And that's it for part 5 of the CPCU 500 video series. Next up, we're going to cover a CPCU 500 study guide. So you can tune in for the next video at AssociatePI.com/videos. That's it. Good luck on the exam. We will see you on the next video.